We're up to Ois Gimel. Up to Ois Gimel over here. So we talked about two levels of Shabbos. Noyach, Noyach. The level of Shabbos Elyonim, the upper in Avodah, the upper parts of the person, the Neshama. And we talk about the Noyach of the Tachtoinim, which the lower parts, the part of Maise, the part of the Guf and the Nefesh HaBahamis. And these two Noyachs, the Lo Tator, are Mamshich, the level of Shabbos Lo, Shabbos Tator into the world. Today, now we're going to be talking about the third level, even a higher level. And that's the level of Mincha Shabbos. It's called the Raiva de Chol Raivim. The Rotzin of all the Ritzonis. It's a higher level. Before we talked about Zocher v'Shomer, which is the two levels of masculine and feminine, these two levels, and then we talked about the idea of kefela, doubled, so that the neshama impacts the body is inspired by the neshama. Today we're going to learn about even a higher madrege, a madrege which is higher than both. That's why we say that shomer v'zocher, zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad nemru. You see, there's a discrepancy between the first luchas and the second luchas. In one it says zocher es yom hashabbos lekadshoy, and the other one it says shomer es yom hashabbos lekadshoy. What did Hashem say? Did Hashem say zocher, or Hashem said shomer? And the answer is that zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad nemru. They were said in one saying, both zocher and shomer. That level that zocher and shomer was said together means that it's a higher level than zocher and shomer each separately. It's a level of zocher and shomer together, which is higher than zocher and shomer both together. And the Rebbe is going to explain also in Avodah, you can do mitzad haguf, and you can do mitzad haneshama, and you can have the guf inspired by the neshama, and you can have the neshama inspiring the guf. But then you have a higher level, which the mitzvah is bichlal not because inspiration. You do the mitzvah because you want to connect with Hashem, as we will see, but let's go step by step. Gimel. He continues in the Maimer. That's the Maimer that the Tzemach Tzedek said that opens up with the Eila told this Noach that the Rebbe quoted in the beginning. That's the base of this Maimer. So he continues in the Maimer, the Minchas Shabbos, that the Mincha on Shabbos, V'chein Seudah Shlishi is the Shabbos, and also the third meal of Shabbos, Hilemailo Mishtei Shabbos, that is higher than both of these Shabbos. This is on a higher level of the two levels of Shabbos, the Shnei Shabbos, which is Maila de Shabbato v'yoyme de Shabbato, the Friday night of Shabbos and the day of Shabbos. And there is a higher level than these two Shabboses, which is the Mincha and Suda Shlishi, the Shabbos. To the extent how much higher it is, it's not just a little higher. Relative to that higher level, Shtei HaShabbosis heim b'shovem. These two Shabboses of Maila Shabbat or Yom Shabbat are equal. There is no difference between them. That is how much this third level is higher and above than these two levels. And this is the meaning when we say Zocher v'Shomer b'dibur echad nemru. That Zocher and Shomer were said, both were said in one saying. B'dibur echad nemru. They were said together. The Eibishter said them both together. This is the idea. It's higher than each one separate. It's a level which Zohar and Shomer is together because it's higher than both of them. Because each individual, Zohar and Shomer, individually, Zohar is Yom HaShabbos Lekatzi, V'Shomer, Hem Yom HaShabbato, U'Mayla de Shabbato. Those are the day of Shabbos and the night of Shabbos. Each one, their level of Shabbos. How exactly do they split up? Zohar is Liduchra. Zohar is the masculine. That is the level of Mashpia. That's the level of Mashpia. As the Rebbe brings down here from the Zohar. So Zohar is Liduchra. That's the Mashpia. Hu Yoima de Shabbato. That is the day of Shabbos. As we learned before, Zo, that is the level of Zoin Shabbos. That's the day of Shabbos, which is Hamshocha Milmaila Lamato. That's drawing down from above to below. So that's the level of Zocher. V'shomer Lenukva. And Shomer is the feminine, which is Mekabel, the receiver, which we talked about before is Malchus, who Mailed the Shabbat. That's the Friday night, Erev Shabbos, which is Halo Milmato Lamailo, to elevate from below to above. So therefore, these are the two levels that are individually. When you talk about them individually, you have Maila de Shabbato and Yoima de Shabbato. But Gabe Gilui Habechina de Minchas Shabbos, but relative to the revelation, what comes Minchas Shabbos, this is the third higher level. Hamashpia v'hamakabel heim b'shaveh. Over there, the Mashpia and the Makabel, which is Zoh and Malchus, the Shomer and Zocher, are equal. Zocher v'Shomer b'dibur echad. That means Zocher Shabbos in one saying, it's higher than distinction, Zocher separately, Shomer separately. No, it's together. Zocher v'Shomer b'dibur echad. And that level, that's the level of Mincha, that's the level of Suda Shlishis of Shabbos. Rebbe says, "Yesh lekasher zeh," so we can connect this, tie this in to the idea in Masha Emrim b'Minchas Shabbos, in the prayer, in the davening, in the Shemona Amida of the Mincha of Shabbos. What do we say over there? Over there it says, "Ki mi'itcha hi menuchasom." Ki mi'itcha, because of from you. The menucha that we're experiencing, the Shabbos, the rest, the relaxation of the Mincha Shabbos, comes me'itcha, from a higher level than the Zocher v'the Shomer, which is Zoh Malchus. This comes me'itcha hi menuchosum, that is from you yourself, a higher level. Sha'amnucha de Shabbos, that the rest of Shabbos, Shemizgal is b'minchas Shabbos, that is revealed, comes around on the Mincha of Shabbos, which is called the Raiva, the Rotzin of all Ritzonis, the very high level, from a level of Raiva the Raivin, that's Me'itcha, that comes from Hashem himself, He Me'itcha. That comes from you. Me'itcha mamish, from you actually. So that's the higher level. Umenucha zu, and this higher level, from where the level of menucha of Minchas Shabbos comes, it includes gam hamenucha de yoima de Shabbato de malu Shabbato, both of the rest of the day of Shabbos and the night of Shabbos, Zocher v'Shomer. Each one, the Zocher, the Yomer, the Shabbato, and Shomer, the Mile, the Shabbato. This is Me'itcha. It includes both of them on a higher level. So what does this mean to us in Avodah that Zocher v'Shomer are b'dibur echad? It's from a higher level. So before we were talking about Zocher, the Neshama, Shomer, the Guf, and we're talking also about Kefela inspiring one another. But here, what does it mean? It's a Menucha which is even higher than the Neshama and the Guf. And the Rebbe will explain that it's actually from a higher place. You're doing it not because your soul wants to do the mitzvah. You're doing it not because your body has been trained and has changed and wants to do the mitzvah, but you're doing it because you want to connect with the one who commands the mitzvah beyond any motivation, whether it's the guf or the neshama. This is even higher. Let's look inside. Yes, Loimar, we can say the inyan zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad b'avodas ha'adam hu. What would be the idea of zocher and shomer that we say it's said in one dibur? How do we translate it into the service of the person? Shekiyum ha-mitzvahs shaloihu, that his observance of mitzvahs is at a different level than we talked about before, zocher v'shomer. It's loy mipnei shehurgal kain v'hergel nase teva. It's not because he was trained or he got used to doing so, and that thing that he was trained became his nature. That would mean that he elevated his body, that his body's nature became that it wants to do mitzvahs, which would be the teva haguf v'nefesh hativis, the nature of the body and the natural soul, the tachton sheba'odam, the lower of the person. So that would mean that the lower part of the person got elevated and got trained and got used to doing mitzvahs. It was changed around to want to do mitzvahs. That would be if you're doing the mitzvahs mitzad the level of shomer, mitzad the nukva, the feminine, the makabel. But this is not, this is higher than v'gam loy, and also not because of the level of duchra, of zocher, loy mipnei she'oyev es Hashem. He does the mitzvahs not based upon, not because he loves Hashem. He yearns, he wants to connect to Hashem. And it is impossible to really connect to Hashem truthfully. We have to fulfill the 248 mitzvahs. Shehem, these 248 mitzvahs that we do are Ramach Evorim de Malka. Those are the 248 limbs of the king. If you want to hug the king, you want to connect to the king is right there. The mitzvahs, those are Hashem's limbs. When you do a mitzvah, you're hugging and you're connecting and you're tying yourself to the king. So a person that wants to connect to Hashem, impossible to connect. You can think and you can love Hashem, but the mitzvahs are Hashem's limbs. When you do a mitzvah, you can connect. Since he has a yearning to connect to Hashem, he has to do the mitzvahs. So that's also not the person's reason, because this mitzvah means that you're doing it, the kiyum ha-mitzvahs, b'oifun zeh hu mitzad ha-neshama. Doing the mitzvahs in such a way that is from the neshama, the nefesh elikis. That's the godly soul because you feel you want to stay connected. That's the connection to Hashem. So that would be a connection that is through the Nefesh Elikis, which is the Elyon Shabbat, which is the upper of the person. So basically, it's possible to do mitzvahs mitzad shomer, which is the feminine, the nukva, which means the body trained to do the mitzvah. You can do the mitzvah mitzad, the neshama, which loves Hashem and wants to connect and can only connect to mitzvahs. But this is in a higher level. The shomer v'zocha b'dibur echad elo shekiyum hamitzvah sheloihu mitzad hamitzvah atzma. It's for the mitzvah itself, not because he loves Hashem. Not that's the way to connect to Hashem. It's just the mitzvah itself. What does the mitzvah itself means? Mitzvah meloshon tzafso v'chibur. Mitzvah means to be together and to connect. That's the language of mitzvah. Which means the reason he does the mitzvah is shehu misached umischaber, that he unites and he connects im Eure Sof mitzave ha-mitzvahs, with the infinite of the Ein Sof who commands mitzvah. Shalemailo mehageder the Elyon v'tachton, who is higher than the definition of the Elyon, than the neshama, the tachton, the body, neshama, v'guf, v'koilel shneim. It includes both. Meaning you want to connect to Hashem just to connect to Hashem, not because the only way you love Hashem, and not because you train, just that is to be one with the Eibishter. B'zehu inyan zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad. This means zocher v'shomer in one saying. What does it mean? It's not zocher by itself, and not shomer by itself. It's not the neshama, it's not the guf, but it's b'dibur echad. The kavonas ha-mitzvah ha-sheyeches le-neshama. When you have the intent of the mitzvah which connects to the neshama, which is zocher, u'maisa mitzvah ha-sheyeches la-guf, and the act of the mitzvah which is connected to the body, so that's the kavona and the action. Both the kavona and the action, hem kula chat, it becomes one. You connect with the mitzvah ha-mitzvah, not for anything specific, just to connect to Hashem. The kavona and the act is together. So this seems to tell us that there is, what the Rebbe is saying over here, that this higher level of not individually because of one level, because of the neshama, because of the guf, because of zocher, because of shomer, but both together, mitzvah ha-mitzvahs. It seems almost like we're trying to say that these two levels are interchanged, but we already had a similar idea. The Rebbe said before that all the Iska de Shabbos is kofel, which we learned, which the Rebbe explained, that means that there's a connection between the neshama and the guf. The neshama is nimshach in the guf, and the guf is elevated, inspired by the neshama, and that means the kofel. So what does it mean here? The extra level that we're saying that it's higher than Zocher v'Shomer, than the Neshama and the Guf, that it's Mitzvah HaMitzvahs, more than the connection that we learned before, that Zocher impacts the Shomer and the Shomer is affected by the Zocher. And the Rebbe addresses it over here. V'yesh loymar, we can say, Shehamayla de Minchas Shabbos, that the advantage of the Mincha of Shabbos, al hakefelus, on the double, we say the double impact, by his kalalus, the shteya Shabboses, and that we said before the inclusion that the two Shabboses, the upper level and the lower level, the elyon neichel, elyon neichel tachtoinim, the neshama, the guf, shekol achas mehem. We said before, klula mishtehem, they're both Each one is included of both. The upper one from the bottom one and the bottom of the upper one can all see base, as we said earlier in Sif base. So what's the advantage? The be'inyan ha hiskalelus de le'il sham. When we talked about the inclusion that we read before, kol echad mehem hu inyan la'atzmei. Each one of them is a matter by themselves, which means you have the neshama, you have the guf. They're a separate idea here. Elo shekolul gam inyan Hashem. But over there, we're saying it's take its own inyan, but it includes in it also, it's also included from the second thing, as we explained. The Vahavtes Hashem Elikecha, loving God your God, umitzad neshama. That's the neshama. That's the separate. Ella, when we say that it's kaful, it means sha'ava, that neshama, that love that the soul has, nimsheches gam b'chol hasmali. It extends also to the left ventricle. So it is neshama. It's the idea of its own. It's the mashpia, but it goes and impacts, extends to the chol hasmali. Va'ad, and then to the extension, mispashetes gam b'chol ha'koiches v'ha'ivorim, expands to all the powers, all the limbs. V'nikeres gam b'chelke ba'olam, and it's also recognized in this part in the world, as the Rebbe said, Beisecho v'sharecho, you put the mezuzahs, you can see Hashem that comes from the Ahavas Hashem, from the neshama. It goes all the ways through into the world. And also, on the other hand, inyan the ma'isa hamitzvos, and the idea of the act, the actual act of the mitzvah, which is shayich beikir legufa adam, which is mainly connected. The body does the mitzvahs. So we say ala shebichdei shekiyum hamitzvah tia lishmo, so that in order that the mitzvah should be for the proper way, hu alidei avavira, he has the love and the fear of Hashem, impacts that the mitzvah is done properly. It's done with avavira. That's the connection of the kol between them. But here we're talking about zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad. V'inyan zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad shebeminchas Shabbos hu. What is the idea over here? That zocher and one echad is shakavonas ha-mitzvah the neshama u'maisa mitzvah the haguf em kol echad. It's not separate. It's not neshama and it's not guf. But by Minchas Shabbos, the intent of the mitzvah of the neshama and the act of the mitzvah are one. There's zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad. It's not one inspires the other, but it's one. It's the Maisa mitzvah, the connection with Hashem, and it's not two entities. It's not one entity kolu from the other entity, but it's one entity together. Shomer v'zocher b'dibur echad. And that's the advantage and the elevation of zocher v'shomer b'dibur echad over what we learned before, that kol iska, the Shabbos kofel, that they're included. So now the Rebbe says, when do we actually experience this higher level of Imitchem Nechosim? That's in Minchas Shabbos. And how is that experience? That's experience in the practical keeping of the Shabbos. All the kavones, you have the kavones of the Maila Shabbata, Mincha de Shabbata, the elevation, the descent, but the practical observance of the mitzvah, the Maisa HaMitzvahs, keeping Shabbos, that comes mi'itcha, that is from the highest of level. The various different elevations of Shabbos are connected to different levels, but the practical, just keeping from doing work on Shabbos, not doing melachas on Shabbos, that inspires, that brings down, that connects to Me'itcha, to Hashem Himself. So the Rebbe is going to bring out that in Maisa, in the actual practical keeping Shabbos, all Yidden are equal. We can't do, no Yid is allowed to do Meluch Shabbos. If you talk about elevation or you talk about bringing down, there's difference who every Yid has a different level. But when we talk about not doing, that is me'itcha. That's where everybody's equal. Let's look inside Dalet. Api hayedua, based on what it's known bepirush, ki me'itcha hi menuchosom, she'emrim b'minchas Shabbos, that it is from you, that was in Shabbos, she'menuchosom habo me'itcha, that rest that comes from you, me'itcha mamish, hi hamenucha de Shabbos she'avasiyah bepoil. That means resting Shabbos from doing in poil. Shvisam and melacha begashmis. We're talking about not doing work, not speaking what you're not supposed to, not doing other, but we're talking about not doing any work. Shabo kol Yisrael shavim, which all Yidden are equal. Yesh loymar, so the Rebbe says al derech zeh. So here we learned that there is the idea of Mincha Shabbos, the mitzvah mitzvah. So the inyan zeh, this concept of all Yidden are equal, and it's all in Maisa, the kiyum mitzvah mitzad mitzvah atzmo, that doing a mitzvah because of the mitzvah itself, connection, tzavsa v'chiburim eidin sof mitzvah mitzvah, which is the together and the connection with the eidin sof that commands the mitzvah. So we can say that it comes down, this idea in Maisa Bepoil, the inyan zeh mizgala bi'iker bi'kiyum hamitzvahs ba'asiyah bepoil. That idea is revealed mainly when we do the mitzvahs actually. When we do the mitzvah practically, just like by Shabbos, we say in keeping of the Shabbos, that is when you get the me'itcha. So this idea that we say that you get the higher in the kiyum mitzvahs, it's when you're doing the mitzvah asiyah bepoil, you get mitcha. Shekol Yisrael shavim b'zeh. All Yidden are equal. So what's the idea? Datam ha'amiti l'zeh sheYisrael mekayim mitzvah. What is the real reason why a Yid does a mitzvah? Gam kshe'ein lo chayis b'zeh. Even if he doesn't have energy, sometimes we do a mitzvah, the practical doing of the mitzvah, not because kavanas and not because of inspiration. He just does the mitzvah when he doesn't have. Why is it? How does he do it? That is because every Yid in his essence, it's ingrained, it's in his DNA, that he, in his essence of his being, wants to do whatever Hashem wants. Why are you doing a mitzvah? Even when you don't have any energy, no passion for it, but you're still doing it, is because inside deep, you want to do the Ratzon Hashem. The Ratzon zeh shemitzad etzem haneshama, that Ratzon that is the essence of the soul, hu hasibo ha'amitis lezeh, that is the true reason. The fact that you openly want to do the mitzvah, it's because of you in the rotzin, that you have the rotzin of Hashem. You may not know it, you may not feel it, it doesn't seem like it. You have no energy, but still you're doing it is because you have an inner willing. Ella, sheberotzin hagoli shelo, in his revealed rotzin, he doesn't feel he doesn't feel that the reason he's doing it is because the Etzem Hashem wants it. And that's why it appears to him, it looks to the person, he's doing the mitzvahs because he's used to doing it. He doesn't see that level of the neshama, that it's because he has a rotzin inside. Or sometimes he does the mitzvah, he thinks because he has an ulterior motive that he's doing it. But the truth is that's not the reason. The reason he's doing it because every Yid has a rotzah to do the will of Hashem. Say even more. Here we're talking when a person is doing a mitzvah, but he's doing the mitzvah, but he doesn't have a chayis in it. And we're saying that he's really doing it is the mitzvah because he's inspired by his rotzah, by inner rotzah. But even more than that, sometimes the person has not even intended to do a mitzvah. A person drops a coin, accident, and a poor person finds it, and we say that he did the mitzvah. How did he do the mitzvah? He didn't even know that he lost it. And he actually feels bad when he asks him, Berotzen, oh, I dropped money. And still we're saying, subconsciously, the rotzen is there. The Seder is Yishlem. The Gam Kshoysa Shalem is coming, even if he's doing unintentionally. Noflo Sela Meyodei Umotza Oni was brought down in the Gemara, in the Sifri, and the Rashi brings it down, that if a person drops a coin from his hand and it was found by a poor person, so even though he feels bad about it, so even then when he does the mitzvah that he gave money to a poor person, Hasiba Hamitis Lazeh, what is his real reason? The true reason why he dropped the coin is because the essence of the neshama wants to do the will of Hashem. So subconsciously, the neshama made him drop that coin so that he can do this mitzvah. The essence of the soul is higher than knowledge. He doesn't even know that the neshama wants him to drop the coin subconsciously to feed that poor person, because the essence of the soul is higher than knowledge, than yidiyah. The impact of the rotzin and the essence of the soul and the power of doing, even when he doesn't know about it. So the Rebbe added, not only when you're doing the mitzvah, at least you're doing the mitzvah, but you're doing it without cheshek, or you're doing it for ulterior motive, that the real reason is because of the rotzin of the neshama. But even in the fact you don't even know you did the mitzvah, you dropped the coin and you fed a poor person, that's also the Pnimis HaNeshama doing it. V'zeu she'ha'inyan dekim ha'mitzvah ba'oifun detzavsa v'chibur imeisva ha'matzvah nisof. Then we say that you're doing the mitzvah in this higher level, me'itcha, as we said before, of a way that tzavsa v'chibur it's because of our connection with the essence of Ein Sof, which is mitzvah ha-mitzvah, who commanded the mitzvah, mizgale be'ikr b'maisa ha-mitzvah. That is revealed in the act of the mitzvah, because in the kavanah you don't know, it could be a lower level. But why do we do in maisa b'poyel? Why is it all done? It's done because of the inner Ratzon Hashem, which is in the neshama, which wants to connect with the Atzmei Nisof. K'hasiba ha'amitis lazeh she'oisa ha'mitzvah. The real reason why he's doing the mitzvah, he may not know it, but the real reason is l'fishin is galaboy ha'rotzin she'mitzad etzem ha'neshama she'keshura imatzum sein Nisof. It's because the Ratzin that is from the essence of the neshama, which is tied with the Atzmus Ein Sof. I know it's a little piece, but we'll leave it for next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good day.